Good evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJNTV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, Animal Effects Professional, Promo Only, and the DJNTV Insiders.
Welcome to DJNTV and Tuesday Night with Ben. Now introducing the one and only Ben Stowe.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So my camera's so far behind. I think if I say something today, it'll be on next week's show.
I think you're time traveling right now.
Man. Okay. Hey, I think I'm back with us. Yay. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. I was so excited just to have my camera working right.
It's the little things in life.
It is.
Celebrate the little victories.
It is. Especially when you become a stay-at-home dad / business person / teacher.
Man, it is. I mean, everybody's got triple duty right now, you know? Which is funny because I'm not a guy who's home much, you know? And in fact, behind me, there's 3 shelves of, hurricane glasses from Hard Rock Cafes all over the world. Everybody knows, everybody who watches the show knows that I'm on the road a lot. That's just part of the deal, being in professional sound. Well, I have only left my house twice in the last 10 days.
Sure.
And once was to go outside and play a little catch with my son in our driveway. And the second time was to go on a walk. And that's it. So, I mean, this is not only have I been home for 10 days, I've been in the house for 10 days. And so far, the family seems like they're taking it pretty good. I don't think they're completely sick of me yet. I think we're still enjoying some of that family time. The cat has completely he's done, man. He's like, you guys need to get out.
You are invading my space.
And thank goodness most of the snow is melted, and so it's nice enough that at least he can go out. But yeah, you could tell that he is just not happy at all that we're here.
I think you talked about that or shared a picture or something last week about that later in the week, and I laughed about it. And then, of course, now this week we've got one of our cats who is like in that mood, and she's been outside all the time. She's like, "You people are not leaving. It's 8 o'clock," and then she goes outside.
Yep.
Fun.
He's fed up.
So Ben, tonight I want to talk a little bit about cleaning gear. This is the time, of course, we can be doing some maintenance and cleaning, and then there's, of course, the situations, and really what I wanted to kind of start with and then bridge off into those situations where someone spills something on our gear. Because unfortunately, as much as I love my powered speakers, there's people who try to put something on top of them.
Okay, so first, I'm glad you talked about other people spilling things, because I saw the title slide and it says that I spilled my ice cream, and I just wanted to tell you that's a total farce. Okay, this whole episode is total nonsense because I would not spill my ice cream. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So this was a clickbait. This is fake news clickbait.
Yeah,
Facebook.
Ben does not spill his ice cream. All right.
It would be no today. Actually, in Minnesota, it was like in the 60s here today. So
was it?
Wasn't it?
I did not leave my house today.
Oh my gosh, it was absolutely gorgeous. You mentioned throwing the football around. We went outside with the football, and the kids because of the eye situation, I'm not the greatest at catching anymore. So the kids, we go outside and they throw the ball and it bounces off my head. It's great, fun.
Wear a helmet and a mask.
Dad, no, left.
Yeah, we were throwing the baseball actually.
That's right.
Yeah, football would be good too, and frisbee, anything just to get outside. Yeah, today I've been surprisingly busy. Certainly the business is very different. It's not busy in the way that we're used to being busy. But I've been very busy, trying to help people, customers adapt, and managing the what what's left of the logistics system right now in the country.
Well, that's actually a question I wanted to get to later, but let's hit it right now.
All right, game on.
Somebody was asking about if they need whether it's parts or if they need, to make a purchase and such now, because there are some pretty good deals available right now if a person is looking. Can people place orders right now yet?
Yeah, with us, they can, absolutely. And one of the things that's been kind of a saving grace for us is that our customers include the military and healthcare and broadcast and telecom. So, we have operations that are essential, to those critical infrastructures. So within, guidelines, we have our warehouse people and a couple technicians available. So yeah, we're still shipping, but again, things are not. It's not as normal. I don't think anybody needs to look around too much to realize the world just isn't normal.
Yeah, not so much right now.
But we're actually getting stuff out pretty quick, and it's been really encouraging to see how our team has responded. All of our customer service people and all that. We're all working from home, and it's been really good to see how we have kind of adapted to take care of our customers. It's always been one of the pillars of how we do business, is putting our customers first. And it's been really encouraging to see how our staff has adapted to the challenge to continue to put people first. And, and there are some challenges.
Mm-hmm.
We had a guy who placed an order, I think at like 11 PM on a Saturday night, and then emailed us at like midnight on Saturday night saying, "Hey, where's my tracking number?" First of all, nobody's working at our shop at midnight on Saturday packing boxes in the first place. We're a small company. There's no UPS pickup until Monday. But second of all, really, So
I'm sorry. I just get excited when I place an order. I'll try not to. I'll give you 20 minutes next time. Okay.
Listen, if it was you, John, I'd have called you.
Hey, what's this?
And I'm like, listen. It's time for a little father-son chat.
Speaking of this, what's with this? Okay, so I needed to make a call, return a phone call this past week, and I make call in and they don't get the answer, and I find that no one interrupts a Ben Stowe phone call. What was that all about?
Yeah, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, and he said, "Oh, John Young's calling," and I said, "Oh, well, you don't need to talk to him." So, he giggled and he told me that nobody puts Ben Stowe on hold.
We have a question from the chat room. Replacement parts for older speakers. Is that something that can be ordered and such if a person needed some?
Well, here we go. It depends. If those parts are available, yes. And again, to the best of our ability, we're still shipping stuff as promptly as we can. Obviously, we are giving, when necessary, we're giving priority to those critical infrastructures, but we've been able to pretty much keep up with everything. So
excellent. Okay, so get a hold of Ben. He'll be in the basement tomorrow, in his office. I mean,
I'm actually above the basement. It's kind of weird because it's not really like a second story. It's like a 1.5 story.
Split level thingy going on.
If I went out the window, it would hurt, but I'd survive.
Yeah. Well,
of course, at my age, I mean,
I was going to say, you're not as young as you once were. And you would have two teenagers laughing at you. So.
Oh, very much. Yeah. And my office actually is right over one of their windows. So
yeah, there would be, here's watch this little Vine video of Ben falling down.
Everybody knows way more than they wanted to know about the household layout. But
so let's get back to situations where we have gear. Really what I want to, some ideas for the cleaning of how maybe, and the times when you make that call that it's either something to just replace or the times it needs to be sent in for service, or how it could be handled professionally.
So there's two things that I think need to be said right away. And the first, this is probably out of the, I'm just going to go with this first. The first thing I have to say is unplug it. Whatever it is, make sure it's unplugged. And we're going to come back to that because it bears repeating. But I think in order to answer the question about how you would clean something, it depends on what needs to be cleaned. Mm-hmm. Was it just water? Is it, is it a spill, like we talked about, maybe soda or a beer or, an alcoholic drink that's maybe got, syrups and things in it too? Is it just, are we just doing some maintenance cleaning and this is just kind of road grime and things that has accumulated over time? So, number one is it really depends on what we're trying to clean. And number two is it really depends on what we're trying to clean it out of. So for example, if it's spilled onto the exterior of a loudspeaker, and if you have a loudspeaker that has a painted finish or, a Duracoat finish or that sort of thing, not carpeted,
Right.
That is kind of the worst case scenario. If you have carpet, by the way, that is good luck. But, if you have something that's spilled on a loudspeaker, you can basically just clean it off. You can use a mild detergent or, even just probably warm water. If you have a kind of a textured finish, maybe a rag doesn't get into all the little textures. So maybe there you could use a gentle brush just to kind of clean out inside of those things. Noting, of course, a couple critical things. One, that it did not go into the amplifier portion if it's a powered loudspeaker, or if it got into the connectors on a passive loudspeaker, then we're going to have to take some steps to clean that out, which we can, I might as well just jump into that. Mm-hmm. You can do that pretty good with a pipe cleaner. Here again, just some basic soap and water, kind of go easy on the soap part because you don't want to leave residue in there. Isopropyl alcohol works pretty good too. Evaporates quickly. But here again, if it's a powered loudspeaker, be very mindful about, and we'll get into cleaning circuit boards in a minute, but be very mindful about where that gets into. And I think step number one is to try to keep it from getting in there if you can. So if you've got a pool of liquid, a drink or something on top, first let's keep it out of anywhere else that we can. Mitigate the spread of the stuff.
Mm-hmm. So we want to social distance the speaker from the spill.
Yeah, you want to keep the liquid at least 6 feet away from the speaker, or 188 hertz, as it turns out to be. So that does change. I don't know if you saw my post on that. People were asking me questions about that. That does change with temperature too, by the way. So here in Minnesota, 50-degree day, it's about 185 hertz, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood. Lower is better because lower frequencies are longer wavelengths, so you can be 188 hertz or lower away from somebody. If you're doing live sound, or if you have a DJ monitor or something that's a speaker that's pointed up towards you, if you got liquids and things into the front of the loudspeaker, and again, we're talking spills. If it's just water, immediately discontinue use, immediately unplug it. And just let it dry real good. Mm-hmm. Try to, sponge up any excess water that you can, but put it outside in a nice sunny day, or if you can't go outside, put some fans on it and stuff, gentle fans, and just let it dry out real good, and you should be okay. One of the things I wanted to point out is most loudspeaker cones are made of paper.
Yes.
And we all know what happens when paper soaks up water. Most of the pro models are, we'll call them moisture resistant. And I had some friends at loudspeaker manufacturers and things kind of chiming in, and it was a good time to talk to them because I think everybody's a little bit bored. So had a lot of discussions about various scenarios. So thanks to those friends, kudos to you guys. But anyway, if the cone gets, if we have water resting inside this cone, that's a big problem. You're going to want to get it out of there right away. If it's been there for a while, that cone may not be repairable. Or horns, horns have they look like a funnel. So here again, try to get those things dried out really good. If it's a corrosive liquid, then you're on the clock. You've got to get it out of there quick before real damage is done. And this is where we get into kind of the sticky wicket of, comfort level. If you're comfortable servicing those things, then I think you can get in there and clean those. If not, you may end up replacing them or sending that off to a repair center to get cleaned and or fixed.
Mm-hmm. And it really becomes your comfort level of working with the electronic side of it as opposed to taking the grill off and drying it out, what have you.
Yeah, circuit boards, in some cases, and I'm not going to say in all cases because that wouldn't be true, but in some cases, I mean, you can literally give your circuit board a bath. You could wash that thing, and then just dry it out real good. Things will work remarkably well after they're dried out, especially if it's just clean water. Remind me to come back to flood water in a second. That's a whole different category. So let's talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
And let's hope we don't have any flood water. But, these days, I mean, wouldn't be any surprise if we had locusts, frogs, or floods. So, why not? I mean, but anyway, so circuit boards, and it's somewhat component dependent, but that thing could just be washed. So here again, if you've got a real, nasty drink or something spilled on it, you may be able to, flood that with some clean water and scrub it up real good, and you'd be fine. But again, that comes down to a comfort level. Not everybody I know is going to be real, happy sticking a circuit board in soapy water to clean it, And again, I don't really want to dive into that too much because I don't want you to do it on my say so, and then you either get hurt or hurt your speaker.
You're right.
Or whatever the circuit board is in at that point. Yeah, I think maybe I'll just mention floodwater now before I get into other types of equipment,
Sure.
like microphones and mixing boards and other electronic component, DJ controllers, that sort of thing. So I just want to say this: if it's floodwater, I'd probably just replace it.
Sure.
There's so much nasty, toxic, dirty stuff, and I guess it would be 22 or 3 years ago, there were the floods, the Red River floods. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
97.
Yep.
I was on the board of a Red Cross chapter at the time, and I can tell you that flood water is stuff you just don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
So if you had gear that got into flood water, I'd just pitch it. There's so many biological, risks there. I don't know that it's worth the effort, nor is it worth exposing yourself to those things, because by the time you get to it, chances are it's probably been in the water for a while. Hopefully you have insurance on it, because you don't want to mess with it. It's not worth getting sick over or whatever.
How about extension cords? Let's say again we had a flood. I go through. I keep my gear and all my cord bags and everything in the. Well, let's maybe back up. Is there any type of gear that would go through a flood that you would say yes, that could still be safely used?
Certainly nothing, fibrous, wood, paper, bags, fabrics. I mean, extension cords, I don't know. The thing is, you could probably clean the cords sufficiently, but to do that, you're going to put yourself at some risk. So just take precautions, for your own health, because the things that are in floodwater, when they dry, they can become airborne, and again, you're talking about getting and right now, of course, respiratory diseases are on everybody's mind, but
Things can happen.
You know what? I'm just going to take the position that I think I would probably plan on pitching most of it. But I will defer to the recommendations of, the government and things like that on how to handle that property. Just take care of yourselves is kind of what I'm saying. You may be able to salvage a lot of it. Loudspeakers, in particular, if they're wood, that wood is going to soak up that liquid and it's going to expand, and it's never going to be right again, structurally or acoustically. So I would just say, no, I'd just pitch them. And again, hopefully you've got insurance.
So the pitch them. How does a person dispose of gear like that?
I'm going to defer that question to the government too.
Okay. I was wondering
because again, these are there are hazardous, toxic things in floodwater potentially in almost every case, I think. And it's been a long time since I've had to deal with it, and I feel really grateful that I haven't had to deal with it. But I just remember that left a very lasting impression on me about the dangers of what was
and how to dispose of things in that state.
Yeah, I mean, you've got basically anything that has been, soaked up, run off, washed off, sewage, industrial waste, pathogens. It's like a soup of things that'll kill you,
Yeah, and it's all right there for you.
So let's go back to simpler things.
Yeah, let's go to happier times and
spilled drinks.
So
I have a friend. My friend Andrew told me about. He had a rain mixer, and of course, they're legendary anyway. But beer got spilled on it. And he said, I immediately stopped using it, let it dry out. Excuse me. And he took a can of Blue Shower, which is a tech cleaner. And he said he used the whole can on it. That might have been excessive. But he said he's still using it years later. So, these things are pretty robust, for most of these things. We want to avoid things, with lots of sugars and that sort of thing. They're going to, do some damage to the gear. So again, get them clean, mild detergent, soap, water, basically, mild dish soap, whatever. And then make sure you get rid of the soap residue, get it clean, within your comfort level, of course. Now, things like faders and that sort of thing, depending on the type of fader, there's moving faders and there's faders that might need some lubrication and that sort of thing. I would say follow those manufacturers' guidelines. And if in doubt, contact that manufacturer's tech support department. And I think they'll be able to ascertain your comfort level. And also, they may say, yeah, I think you can service this, or, maybe you should send this to us, or no, this is a lost cause, don't. So it's going to be somewhat individually specific there.
Yeah. So really just the idea of reaching out to the people who know about it is probably your best step to get an opinion.
Absolutely. I would say. This is, we're trying to cover kind of a really broad category here.
Certainly.
And this is not going to be a definitive or exhaustive resource, just sort of a good guide. Microphones, somebody told me once that microphones are like toothbrushes, which, by the way, soft bristled toothbrush does make an excellent cleaner for microphones. But so I've got an example here, and this is an RE320, just like you and I are using right now to talk. This one is not easy to take apart. So on this one, maybe we would just want to clean these exterior surfaces, which again, we could do with that soft bristle, brush, and just kind of give it a little cleaning. On mics where the windscreen is removable, a lot of your dynamic, handheld microphones like an SM58 or an ND76 or an 835 or what have you, that cap, that top windscreen can be completely removed. And you can just throw that in some dishwater and wash it out. Now, let it dry real good. Make sure you do not let the mic capsule that's inside get wet. So don't throw your whole microphone in there. That's probably the end of your microphone. But here again, if you take that cap off and the inside has gotten dirty or sticky or whatever, which would be less likely. Although I have a friend who did sound for the band Guar. Remember them?
Yeah.
And he told me stories about hanging microphones upside down in the trailer so the fake blood could drain out of them between shows. Anyway, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
But again, just try to clean the inside gently. Remove any sticky substances and that sort of thing, and get the thing dry again as quickly as you can. So let the mics completely dry. We do have, and we have some more coming in, I think in the next day or so. It's obviously been a very hot item right now, but we do have some spray mic sanitizer. Now the factory says it kills 99.99% of germs. I do not have any representation about what it does or doesn't kill. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to protect you from COVID-19 or some silly claim like that. But I think as a preventative maintenance thing, it's probably a pretty good idea. Because, COVID-19, which is all the concern at the moment, isn't the only infectious disease we can get. And so, it's plus microphones can just get kind of gross if they're being community used. If you're doing karaoke, things like that, maybe not a bad idea to just clean those once in a while and or shoot some of the sanitizer stuff on them.
So with the sanitizer, how would you use that with the microphone?
This stuff, they just recommend you kind of squirt it on there. You
not even remove
a bottle and just spray some on from a few inches away or whatever I think it says. And now here again, the directions are not super clear. It doesn't specify a drying time. It does have an alcohol content, so that's going to evaporate, of course. But it doesn't give us the kind of granular information that I would like to have.
Yeah.
So again, it's a preventative maintenance sort of thing, peace of mind. Plus it makes the mic smell a little better too. It actually, if nothing else, it gets rid of some of the odor causing germs. And it's interesting because I did sound for the comedian Gallagher, who was in a particularly owly mood that night, I think. And I'm biting my tongue a lot here. The microphone at the end of the show looks like somebody threw it in a restaurant garbage and then poured everything on top of it. I mean, it was pretty rough. Actually, you know what? If you can occupy people for just a minute, I know I took a picture of this. Bear with me, and I will find the picture.
So we'll take this moment. Right now, gang, because of the whole COVID situation and everyone's home, we've got our DJNTV Insider area. That's our membership area that has over 100 training videos in there that were members-only videos. The insiders said, hey, let's open this up so everyone can have this opportunity to learn and grow their business. I have probably gotten 25 to 30 thank you messages, and it's something I need to share with the insiders, that from people who have jumped in there and have taken some of these classes that we offer and have learned some cool things about mixing, some business things and sales, and there's just all sorts of different educational things in there. Plus the videos from the convention that we just did in Las Vegas in February, the last DJ convention, and maybe the only DJ convention in 2020. I didn't even think about that. That could be pretty something. So anyway, so all of that is out there at DJNTVtraining.com. Now, to get this, you need to go type this in, DJNTV.com, just DJNTV.com/help, HELP. And I'll actually put that into the chat, DJNTV.com/help. That will go to a spot where you can go and fill in your information, and you can get the free membership here during this COVID situation. It's set at the end of June, maybe June, somewhere in there. If this is going to continue, we're going to continue to put really good content in there, and we're going to extend this so that way you guys will be able to take advantage of this and hopefully be able to use this information to come out of this situation in a much better position. So, okay, commercial's over. What do you got?
That's very cool of you, John. I think that's super awesome that you opened up the insider stuff for free. And I'll tell you what, folks, if you're sitting around right now looking for something to do, or even if you're super busy, you should still take John up on that. I mean, it's free and there's great content in there, and just go fill your brain, honestly. And you know what? When it's over, stay subscribed. I mean, John's put together a great thing. So there you go. There's my commercial for your commercial.
Yeah, there you go. There's a question in the chat room, and this is an important question, so we have to ask this one. Sean wants to know if the ice cream has been eaten yet.
There is no ice cream tonight.
Okay.
Okay. I apparently did not treat the delivery driver.
You didn't.
The delivery person. If you don't know what we're talking about, watch the podcasting episode. But apparently, I will not be getting ice cream delivered again. So.
Oh, and I don't remember what time it was too in the video that they.
15 minutes.
About 15 minutes. It must be at 15:42 or something like that. So yeah. Okay.
Just watch the whole thing. What could hurt, right?
Yeah, it's actually.
That's free. That video is free on YouTube. Of course, all of your stuff's free right now. But so this is my microphone on the stage after Gallagher was done.
Oh goodness, what a mess!
He was a very unpleasant human being.
That's the politically correct way of Ben saying he was a jerk.
I'm just saying that
you didn't say it. I didn't hear you say
it. I mean, he's got his style, and he is who he is. Certainly, this COVID thing has impacted a lot of people, and I have a lot less work right now, but I'm contemplating, being a Walmart greeter or something before I'd go back and do sound for him again. So
just to put it in perspective.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Anyway. His manager's great. He was, but anyway, people have off days, and I'm not here to call them out. So, but I'll just say that this is how it was left.
Mm-hmm.
And so cleaning was required for the cable, for the stand, for the microphone. We had some drapery that needed to be cleaned. It was bad.
Jeez, what a mess! What a mess.
Yeah, it was pretty awful. Anyway, so yeah, I had to kind of practice what we're preaching here and do that. So
We get another question from the chat room here, and we're just going to get to some of these while we're going. Fire, smoke, specifically smoke damage when it comes to gear. Is there any way to deal with that, or is it just one of these things that?
I'd replace it, and I'll tell you that comes from personal experience. Eons ago, I mean, 20 some years ago, my office, our building it was part of a larger building, and one of the other tenants had a fire, and we only got smoke in our part of the building. We didn't have any fire, and it just wreaked havoc on electronics. And in fact, we had several loudspeakers that tested good, after the fire, and within weeks, all had failed. So it just wrecked that stuff. So I guess it depends on the extent of the damage, but hopefully there's insurance involved. Yeah, it wasn't a good experience for me. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that even with a little bit of lightning damage, and there was some smoke damage in a couple of things, and the smoke has ended up what they figured in a couple of electronic things. It wasn't the surge, it was this, and then there was smoke that went through our phone system. And they're like,
man, I don't know what's in that smoke, but it would just, it wrecked everything. Phones, fax machines. Remember those? We had a fax machine anyway, but
that's the last time we had a fax machine too, was before that situation.
Well, we still do actually, which is really interesting because some manufacturers want checked by fax, and everything's at the office. So, people that are working from home now, we're like, nobody has a fax machine. We don't have a fax machine at home,
Yeah, not so much.
Nobody brought home the fax machine, I guess, but
do we have everything? Let's see. The money box, we've got our Rolodex, and we've got that. Oh, but we can't leave without the fax machine. Go get it.
Fax machine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I smoke. I just hope it doesn't happen to you. Like I said, it just, I don't think anything really survived that. It all died prematurely. Even if it survived a little while, all of that equipment failed prematurely. And it was kind of a lesson learned. We were pretty cavalier about it. And we said, no, this stuff's fine. And we didn't, because their insurance was going to pay for it. And I didn't want to be a guy who was opportunistic or took advantage of that. But now I think, being more educated, I'd say, yeah, you're going to replace all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because ultimately I ended up replacing all that stuff, so.
Excellent. Good advice there. Cause that's always lightning strikes, fire damage, water from the fire situation, horrible things like that happen. And then it becomes that tendency. Oh, that's quite all right. It didn't, we were hit by lightning last year and we thought we had everything. And it turns out there was one more thing. And that one more thing happens to be these underground wires between the house and the office. And, this is where that Cat 6 thing I was talking to you about. Yeah. By the time we buy that wire and to have the guys pull that wire, we've got $1,000 into this. So yeah, it's best to, at that point, just to deal with and replace everything that potentially was hit. Crazy. Well, okay. You mentioned alcohol, using alcohol for cleaning. Is there any
isopropyl alcohol?
Isopropyl. Yeah. The vodka stuff, just leave that in the bottle. That's what caused the problem in the first place.
Just drink it. Yeah.
Just drink it. Yeah.
So which begs the question. I asked this the other day in Ron Ruth's he had a group of people together just chatting about some things, and I didn't really get any clear direction. So when this is all over, do we go to AA first or Weight Watchers first?
I think it's going to be Weight Watchers. I mean, just speaking
for me, for sure. Yeah. But
it's like, oh man, when somebody said they called it the instead of the freshman 15 that they refer to at college, but the COVID 15 or whatever.
Quarantine 15.
Quarantine 15. There we go. That's what it was. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
You know what? I've actually taken some of the time. Of course, there's been a lot of stress, and I've been trying to manage that in a healthy way. As healthy as I can. So I've been working out a little bit more, and I don't work out very much. So anything would be an improvement, But But I've been training for my rematch with Howie, so I just want you to know, Howie, if you're watching, coming for you.
Yeah, and he is with us tonight. So
Yeah, here it comes. Here it comes, big boy. He's
training. We're back in the training.
I love that man. I do it. Even if he walloped me good, I still love that man. So.
That's the thing about how he can beat you and pin you to the ground, and you still.
Manny, I tell you what though, I was friends with a lot of the guys that I wrestled against, and sometimes I won and sometimes I lost, and I think people appreciate and respect competitors. If you compete fiercely but fairly, I think there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah,
so
that there is.
In Howie's case, I mean, how can you not love Howie, honestly? So.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, so the isopropyl alcohol is one household type cleaning device. Any other household things like a window cleaner or any of that you
Absolutely. We didn't talk about lighting. So window cleaner is great because it's designed for smooth surfaces like glass and that sort of thing. And it can absolutely be used on other components. A lot of times it's designed to evaporate quickly so as to not leave streaks on your window. And that can be good for these surfaces of electronic devices and that sort of thing too. So now again, if we're talking lighting and we're talking the exterior fixtures, it's great. I see you smiling. It must be a great comment.
Yeah, how he's talking about
you talking trash again?
He said that you sent him a training video.
Oh, well, I'm working on it. We're gonna first I have to actually do something. Anyway. Oh, I did send him one fun clip. Yeah, we were having a good exchange that night. Yep. So good dude, how he is for sure. But glass cleaner we can use on the surface of things. If we're cleaning lenses and optics and things of lights, be very careful to not scratch them. Use soft, lint-free, cloths or lens cloth, that sort of thing. But household glass cleaner is a great choice.
How about any situations where, because there are other types of cleaners out there, like a Goo Gone and things such as that. I mean, if it's a sticky thing, do you use something like that to kind of clean the stick off? Or,
you know what? I made myself some notes, and I just got so darn frustrated, and discombobulated when I mentioned Howie's name. It just, I'm just not used to losing, so it just threw me off my game, and I totally forgot about Goo Gone. It is actually on my list, of course, yes, because again, like I said at the beginning, it depends on what is spilled. I wouldn't use Goo Gone to get rid of a spill of water, obviously. But if you have something that's, a glue or an adhesive or something really sticky or nasty, Goo Gone is great. Most of your household, dish detergents will be, good on greases and things like that. They're designed, for food grease and that sort of thing. But Goo Gone is great if you have adhesives or sticky things. That's goo. Mm-hmm. That's what it's. Yeah. So thank you, John, for bailing me out there.
Excellent. I wanted to make sure we hit that before we wrapped up tonight. So, Paul was asking about glass cleaner with ammonia. Do you know if there would be any advantage or disadvantage to using that when it comes to cleaning lenses?
Yeah, most of it has ammonia in it, and again, on lenses or smooth surfaces, things like that, no problem whatsoever using glass cleaner. But one of the things I mentioned earlier too is mild cleaners. Let's not go crazy with some really harsh, dangerous stuff. It's if you feel like you need to go that far, that's one of those times where I'd say you need to call the manufacturer. So again, glass cleaner is not something I'd be worried about at all about using. Cleaning off, input panels and things like that on loudspeakers. I would probably spray it onto your cleaning towel rather than spraying it on there and, risk having it get into places you don't want it to go. But first do no more harm, right? The Hippocratic Oath, do no harm.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem using glass cleaner with ammonia on a lens.
Excellent. Well, good. That wraps up our show for this evening, gang. Thank you guys for being with us, and we'll be back at the top of the hour. We've got Brian and Jay coming in, and we're going to be talking about each of them are going to put together a sound system that could do a small event and fit in the back seat of a car. Of course, that's not really fair because Brian, you've seen what he drives there, Ben. He's got the Suburban.
Well, He's got some sports cars too, though, don't he?
That we'll see if he does the Mustang. Let's hopefully.
Absolutely go rolling there. Yeah.
He has that. So we'll be back at the top of the hour, and then of course we'll be back next week with our next Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Ben, thanks for being on tonight.